on LinkedIn this year. So this is
Mhm.
part of what we wanted to do is to get active and be in touch with everybody.
Yeah.
We've got. So let us know, Jason.
Yeah,
I think
we are now streaming live on YouTube,
yeah.
and we are going to officially start yet another episode of Stories. So, Stories is all about sharing successful stories of people around the world, and it's a great honor to have Mr. Subhan Said, as I have rightly pronounced your name, Subhan
Yes.
Said.
Subhan
Uh,
say yes.
yeah,
Thank
Subhan
you,
Said.
Jason.
Thank you for
Thank
being on our show. Stories is just a networking process to connect with a lot of people around the world. And we have already published lots of stories of different people, different nationalities, different geographical conditions. And it is a great privilege to host you again on this show. Shubhan Saeed, as I know from LinkedIn, he's the sales director of Source Development Group. We'll be asking about the Source Development Group in detail in the later stage. But before starting the show, how are you today?
We're great. We're great. Thank you so much for having us. It's great. It's an honor to be here today as well. It's good to connect virtually, and
Yeah.
once things get better, maybe we'll be connecting with more of a physical sense as well in the near future.
Correct. So, going forward on the conversation, the audience would love to know about you, your current background, your associations. In fact, more about the Source Development Group. Would you like to elaborate on this one? How did you get through all these things?
Sure. I mean, that's you just hit me with so many questions, so we'll try to take one at a time and break it down. Me, born and raised out here in Saudi Arabia. We
Mhm.
moved out to Mississippi, of all places, Mississippi, Texas, California.
Yeah.
Grew up out there. That was ages ago, and then just being planted out here in Dubai a little over 8 years ago
Mhm.
um, in the real estate market here in working with the developers and promoting off-plan sales. We had the great opportunity. Um, I mean, it was accidental, how I thought, how can me, I still think I don't wear a cowboy hat, but I think I'm Texan, right? How can a cowboy be selling UK properties? But it just so happened that we met with the group, and before I joined them, I was able to introduce the offerings that they had, and the offerings were compelling. The customers liked it. And then we worked on some deals, and eventually the group asked me, "Hey, we love what you do. Come do more of it with us full time." And so, as the sales and marketing director, my uh, my responsibilities are to spearhead strategies, cooperations. Marketing strategies, sales strategies to
Yeah.
help customers and to help our agents and our agency networks as well.
Yeah, so real estate is the biggest challenge, especially in the UAE. Real estate, I think people are saying it's booming, but would love to know your comments on how's the condition in the Middle East totally on the real
In,
estate sector.
in the Middle East, yes, we see, with the official statistics will be out. It's still the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
but just from the transactions, because as of last year, I was still very active in the real estate, in the Dubai real estate market as well. We see that a lot of the secondary market transactions are happening. So, like during the COVID, it's interesting because you also said that stories kind of started this year because, due to COVID as well. So, during the COVID time, during the lockdown, people were coming to me and say, "Hey, Subhan, give me a COVID deal, give me a Corona deal." What they're trying to say is, "Oh, if the property is worth 2 million, hey, I want to pay 1 million for it, right?" So that's their Corona COVID deal. And so, yeah, maybe there were 1%, 5% of that did take place. So that happened across 3 months. Some people were distressed, and some people needed some money to inject into their businesses. And so that happened, and then that was it. Those 3 months, there were a few super low price deals.
Yeah.
Um, Transactions were happening, but in November we transacted officially with the Dubai Land Department one of the highest numbers of sales in November of just last year. So across many years. So that happened in the Dubai market. And then I'd like to share how and what happened in the UK market as well.
Yeah.
So at the same time, UK market, of course, took a bigger hit, more lockdown, and even right now, they're on on the current lockdown. Health-wise, there's a new strain, right? So there's a lot of this negative buzz out there, but in that of Brexit and and all the slowdown that's happened, opportunities have arisen.
Yeah.
So of course, some businesses weren't able to make it. Some businesses came together, and in terms of development and construction, cost of materials went down because other people weren't buying it. Shipping logistics costs went down. Just because there was less shipping and less people buying. So so the overall cost of building construction came down too. So that trickled down to the end user, to the end buyer. To well, if you buy today, it costs less. It
Yes.
costs the developer less to build, and they're motivated as well because it's the UK. The pound to dollar, so in Dubai, where the dirham is pegged to the dollar, so the pound to dollar exchange is quite attractive in years. Since many years, so that's attractive. So the cost has come down, the payment structures have come down, and there's just, I mean,
Yeah.
right? In terms of show business, any news is good news, right? So in case in everybody's mind, and people feel that it's a resilient economy, hundreds of years, thousands of years of history. Um, so people feel that, oh, well, this is the lowest that I've seen the pound. It's a great time for me to invest into it.
Yeah, great. So we know that you are a pro in real estate, but Subhan, as a person, you have seen your best days, you have seen your worst days. We need to know what drives you. What is that passion behind you? What is that success strategy behind you, which keeps you moving to achieve all these strategies? I mean, to achieve all these success factors. So, what is that drive?
What I try to do is personally, this is just not as from the corporate angle, just me as a personal life. I try to be, I mean, not to think highly of myself. I don't. I try not to be the smartest person in a room, right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that, I'm not talking about, I got a PhD, I don't, right? So it's not that book terms, but when it comes to, it just comes to everything. Like, when it comes to, say, for example, fitness, I try to be and hang out with the best, the fitness gurus, or the people who are very athletic, who've got years and years of body sculpting and body experience. When it comes to finance, I try to be friends with the top of the creme de la creme of the bankers, the finance experts, the mortgage experts. So I try to rub elbows with these guys. When it comes to the business community, the construction, the marble guys, these guys are my friends, and we hang out, and yeah, we do business, but we also talk about life, and just understand best practices. So I'm constantly reaching out for more. So yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to be friends with millionaires when you're not a millionaire, right? They have expensive habits, which everyone cannot afford when you're on your journey to earn that first million. But in my experience in living in Dubai and all over the world, millionaires are some of the most down to earth, and some of them, majority of them, the ones I've met, just down to earth. They want to be treated just like regular people, and their expectations in their life are so high, from office, family, stress, businesses. I recently read that ultra high net worth, some of the top millionaires in the world have 7 or 8 multiple streams of income. So I'm not saying they just have that one business. They got these 7 streams of businesses. Maybe they're minority partner in one business, majority partner in the other. But to manage all of that, so I always try to keep myself in the company of good people. And because in this world of the international real estate, we're able to meet very dynamic people,
Yeah.
and so with that company and that internal drive, there's nobody else that can motivate you the best by yourself,
Right.
and yeah, I must say, since you did ask me, big Gary Vaynerchuk fan, yeah, so I'm guilty,
Yeah.
big just watching and all the other. There's many other that I'm sure you and I we would have a tall list of 10 or 20 people. But yeah, there's many people that we're always trying to take that 1 minute of that Insta story, right? Story, or 5 minute story or 20-minute story, and just build on top of that.
Yeah. So we know your success strategy now. It's like being the best and looking at the best, I think, because you have that best practices coming in from anywhere around the world, from any source, you would be going after it and grabbing it by both hands. I think that's the success strategy for you. That's a great strategy for, in fact, the beginners and professionals as well, because people who are listening to us live through different channels, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, they would be really motivated to really go and follow the strategy of being with the best. And actually, if you're not being with the best, try to be like the best and adopt what is their best practices. That's fantastic. So when we talk about success, obviously we can't ignore the challenges as well. We know real estate market is biggest one of the biggest challenging markets. But still, as a person, did you overcome your challenges yet, or how did you? What are the strategies behind it? How did you overcome your challenges?
Well, I feel that every day there's a challenge, right? Firefighters
Yeah.
are tasked with a major catastrophe, and they need to put out that fire. And if you know some firefighters, or if you want to read a book about it or watch a movie about it, you'll see there's a strategy that they have. They control and they attack the fire in a certain way, in a group effort,
Right.
right? So definitely the network, again, it comes back to that network of friends, that group effort of people who can really come together and collaborate. And, in these trying pandemic times when a lot of people, and it's a reality, businesses shut down, people lost their jobs. Um, because of the support network of friends or business partners that I had, I was able to really be extremely successful last year, in terms of, if we were to gauge in terms of, monetary gauge, or in terms of sales, right? In terms of peace of mind, in terms of, there's different measures of success, right? What is success? Is success being very unhappy for 80 hours a week, right? There are people who work 80 hours a week and get
Yes.
minimum pay. Or did I free up a lot of my time and I was working super efficiently for 30 hours, or 35 hours a week, or and super efficiently, and being able to get a bigger financial reward because I was working smartly, right? Um, so in terms of however we want to, each individual gauges success in their own way. The challenges are really accomplished by attacking them with a systematic, with a project management approach. If let's say that in terms of in terms of a corporation, revenue is important. And let's talk about that. How do you attack revenue going down? Well, as physical meetings were coming down, well, this is what we had to do.
Yeah.
Skype and team meetings are old. Today, Zoom took off. Zoom made things a little easier for us, right? A little more
Yeah.
efficient, a little bit more features.
Mm.
So for people who are used to using Skype, they switched over. For people who are used to going live and being, digitally savvy, they just switched over, so that sales function for the corporation turned into this digital interaction in terms of corporate sales. So for
Yeah.
people who jumped on that, early, and maybe they got the equipment and the studio and the office passed. Well, they were quite successful. And then the people who just stayed within that bubble of negativity, and just got lost in that cloud. We see it's unfortunate. We see that and we hear about it, that they were not able to, those organizations or those individuals with that negative effect were not
Yeah.
able to succeed. And so it's going to take them months and months moving forward, um, as the situation is getting better. Vaccines, productivity, government initiatives are wonderful here, in the UAE, and many countries did a great job. Some countries not so much.
Mm.
But as we see that the early adopters of technology, the early adopters of health standards, we see where they are today as where they were in May or June of last year, and we see there's a significant change. So let's say if we were to make a concise sentence on that, innovation and adaptability to change,
Yeah.
that helps you to overcome the challenges.
Perfect. And when you were talking about that, some people are working 80 hours, 90 hours, I suddenly remembered Elon Musk, his life story. He used to work 160 hours. I don't know how he used to work 160 hours in his early days and then came back to 80 hours. I don't know, but he's such a motivation for many millions out there. And one of the biggest strategy when I learned his life lessons is like he divides each task into 5 minute slots. So that's a big takeaway for the audience as well. If anybody is listening to me live right now, they can go and refer to the how Elon Musk has succeeded in his life. Going ahead before winding up the show, Mr. Shubhan, the younger generation needs motivation, and you agree with this because the COVID is forcing them to take very risky decisions. Some people are already in their job profile, but they are fearing to switch on the job. Some people are looking for jobs around the world. So your advice to them as a senior professional, as a brother, as a person who have seen these ups and downs of life, you can advise 3 to 4 advices you can give to our young audience.
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, it's an advice that I remember. I don't remember all of it. Maybe our viewers can go back and remember. But Jack Ma,
Yeah.
billionaire, Alibaba, he said, and it resonated, and I saw how that affected me, and I think it was fantastic advice. He had it was some advice to some fresh graduate university students. I'm sure it's quite Googleable, but one of the key points is that when you're young, it's good to be maybe not in the top or the best company in the world, right? His company being one of the best, Elon Musk, right? One of the best companies in the world, Google, Apple, right? So all these companies, top five, top 10. But it's important to have that mentor. So that being, so somebody, a 19-year-old guy, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, so is there anything? I'm passionate about real estate. I like what you do. Is there anything that I could do for you? And I'm like, well, what are you doing? So he's studying. He's working part time. And so I told him, look, if you can look at the post that I'm making. If you
Yeah.
can post some of these same posts in the forums and the groups 2-3 hours a day, I will start, giving you advice and training you on what it is that you're posting, why you're posting, what real estate product that is, and how that should be positioned. So to manage a resource and to hire a resource in this time. In a different location, how are you going to train them? How are you going to devote all that time to that resource? But if you're really hungry, go out, find someone who is a top performer in your niche, offer your services. If it's a paid internship, well and good. But if there is no internship, create that opportunity for yourself, like this individual that created a job for him, and we're just getting started out, but within the next 3 months or so, we'll understand how he's going to perform, and that could lead into a more longer and more permanent type of position. So that, I mean, that's one hustle, right? That's one hustle, but the idea is think outside the box, keep hustling, keep grinding, find. I mean, there's a big debate, Jason. Where I don't know how strapped we are for time, but should you do something you love or should you do something that you're good at, right? So a lot of people talk about this, and there's lots of different angles to it. I mean, should you do something that makes you a lot of money and you're miserable, or should you do something that you should give 100% into it because you love it,
Yeah.
but monetary, like you're terrible at making collections from that. Is that sustainable? So there's a lot of debates going on that. What do you think, Jason?
This is the most realistic advice I think, which the younger generation could take away, because people are looking up, like they are getting advices like you have to develop your skills. Okay, developing our skills is good, but thinking outside the box, like a younger kid did to you, he tried up to approach and he thought outside the box, because he could have gone and directly approached you and gave his CV to you and told you that I need a job, but he made a way that you could trust him, and the trust is like a bridge between both person, and it worked out for him well. And this is what the younger generation should see and apply in their life. The trust element, they should build the first trust element, monetary is secondary. Jobs comes and goes, but that human touch, that emotions remains forever. Fantastic, fantastic advice today, Mr. Shubhan. All the best for your career, and this is a great opportunity for stories as well to host you throughout the last 30 minutes or 32 minutes. All the LinkedIn viewers, all the YouTube viewers, all the Instagram viewers on your profile. Thank you so much. You're all blessed with this great, amazing personality, Mr. Shubhan. Try to follow him in LinkedIn, and would you like to share your DP handles to the audience now?
Yeah, sure. On Instagram, it's just Mr. underscore Dubai off plan, right? So Dubai off plan, Subhan Sayed on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Jason, for
Thank
this
you.
opportunity,
Thank you.
and everybody who's watching me from my channels and from Jason's channels. Please do let Jason know
Yeah.
who you want to see interviewed, what type of field, industry, what topics you would like to see. I mean, in our world of digital media, the more you tell us is the more we
Yeah.
can give. So do
Exactly.
let me know what you want to see with Jason, and let Jason know what you want to see with me. And we are here to serve the people. We're here to serve you.
Exactly. Thank you so much again, Mr. Shubhan. Let's reach our target soon. All the best for your career. God bless you and your family. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.